before it's too late.
One must remember that even as born in captivity, those instincts are always there. Those natural instincts. Sure, when he's bred in captivity, he's not going to be fit. So what we usually do is when you release them, is you put a collar on them. And you monitor them for the first 3 months. He's going to find he chases something and he gives up after 50 meters. And you see 3 days later the guy's a bit hungry, give him a bit of food. But you'll see, within 3 months, he's back to his natural, no problem whatsoever.
At the other end of the country, near Cape Town, the Cheetah Outreach Centre is focused on educating the public to the potential plight of the cheetah in the wild. Here, tame cheetahs get the message across to visitors by making themselves available for photo opportunities and exhibiting their speed and agility to the public. Education Officer Dawn Glover strives to get the message across to the widest possible audience.
Our cats see, about 500,000 people a year, and those are people who are then coming into conservation field, spreading the word themselves or giving money for the in-situ conservation and for the programs that we support with our awareness.
As at many athletic meetings, the sprinters steal the limelight while the distance runners toil in anonymity. Everybody, it seems, knows the plight of the speedy cheetah, but the marathon runners of the African bush are almost unknown, and even more endangered than the cheetah. These long-distance runners are the African wild dog, or painted hunting dog. They can run up to 70 kilometres in a day as the pack crisscrosses the veldt in search for prey. There are very few areas of wilderness left that can provide a home spacious enough for such fleet-footed wanderers, which can reach more than 60 kilometres an hour at top speed. However, Dave Cooper says they won't be able to outrun extinction without our help.
We don't have enough territories that are large enough to sustain viable populations. This country, Kruger Park, yes, has probably got the only sort of area big enough.
Umfolozi Game Reserve, only a fraction of the size of the massive Kruger National Park to the north, is home to 3 packs of wild dogs. In an area of 660 square kilometres, their long-distance adventures bring them into occasional public view. African wild dogs live in a tight-knit social group and hunt cooperatively, preying primarily on grazing animals such as gazelles, springboks, wildebeest and zebras. Most predators stalk or ambush their prey, but these dogs make no attempt to hide. While most hunters rely on their camouflage to help them hunt, these painted dogs do the opposite. They use their brightly painted coats to help them hunt. Just the sight of them approaching will spook a herd into stampeding. They then single out an individual, usually the young, or one that's slowed by old age or disease, and chase it until it's exhausted. The dogs are swift, tireless runners. They've been known to chase prey for an hour, for as far as 5.5 kilometres in a single burst. But most of them are out of view and need to be tracked using special radio tracking devices. The Umfolozi dogs are under close scrutiny as scientists try to learn more about their breeding cycles and survival needs.
Certainly in Umfolozi, the dogs are doing well. Unfortunately, due to their nature, it's a very dynamic society. It chops and changes. One minute you've got 25 dogs, tomorrow you've got 2, 3 dogs. But I think they're holding their own, and I think it's good that we've got wild dogs in captivity. At least we maintain that gene pool, and we've come a long way with the metapopulation principles of managing wild dogs.
African wild dogs have an unusual breeding system. Only the dominant alpha female reproduces in a pack. Other pack members act cooperatively to care for the young of the breeding pair. It has been said that African wild dogs are one of the most social of all mammals, never living apart from the pack at any stage in their lives. Their breeding is seasonal at the end of the rainy season when game is plentiful, when the litter sizes can range from between 2 and 19 pups. Although females are physically sexually mature at 18 months, breeding is suppressed by the presence of the dominant female. But much of this knowledge is only fairly recent and comes from the several successful captive breeding programs, including the Hoedspruit Cheetah Centre. But the worry is that it may be too late to save the painted hunting dogs in the wild.
That's, I think, one of the multi-million-dollar questions, whether we would actually be able to do that eventually. I'm a positive person. I hope we will be able to attain it, but there's some doubt, I guess, whether we will actually be able to get enough wild dogs out there to ensure their future in the long term.
The wild dog is still going to have a rough ride. By their nature, they like to roam a lot, they need big spaces. A country like South Africa with all the fencing, they just haven't got those spaces. They obviously also conflict with livestock farming, which is we're never going to rid, unfortunately. Although perceptions, particularly from livestock farmers in South Africa, have actually improved towards the wild dog, and we're seeing cases where they would call conservation departments to ask them to come and remove the wild dog rather than just shoot them. So I think the perceptions of wild dogs have changed, which is very important for them. But I think they've still got a rough road.
They are certainly the animal that is threatened most by encroachment due to people and the diseases that the domestic animals are carrying. And we've seen it time and time again.